We started our trip by visiting Sacramento, the capital city of California. I mainly wanted to go here because of the film Lady Bird, and we wanted to visit some of the sites. We headed first to the visitor center, took a walk and stroll around that area, rested up a bit, and drove through some of the key locations where the film was shot, especially this blue house and this thrift town, which I think someone was judging us because we're taking videos of the place. Afterwards, we refueled a bit for lunch at a nearby diner, and then we were off to Nevada for our first evening out. The mountains are so nice. The next morning, we had a pretty long drive ahead of us, so I kept busy by browsing Jackie's passport book. She filled it up with a lot of the national parks she's visited over the years. It was so fun to see it, and it was very inspiring. And then I looked out a window and I see that we have made it to Utah. Lots of mountainous areas. We first stopped by Salt Lake City and dropped by City of Industry. It's a stationery shop right in SLC. Really cute things inside. I've just heard good things about it from recommendations from people. I got myself a couple of postcards and prints, and afterwards we went to Loki for a quick pick-me-up. I had hojicha latte. Haven't had it in a while. And we met up with Courtney, who is based in SLC. She was helping me out last year at Stationery Fest in New York, so we hung out with her for a bit. And she took us to Trolley Square. We met up with her there. We looked at some fancy stationery, just nice to window shop and yap and have a little taste of the city because we had to head to another part of Utah for our next day. Got the swig. I'm a child. I got the butter beer. Buttery beer? Tastes like butter beer. It's really sweet, but it tastes like root beer float. We had an early start the next morning because our entry time to the Arches National Park was 7 a.m. But I think it was a good excuse to see the sunrise and marvel at all this beauty from the passenger seat and not have a lot of cars right in front of us. This was also my first ever national park and first time doing the stamps, so I was pretty excited to try it out. I don't have a passport, but I just stamped it on my traveler's notebook passport insert. Still counts as passport, I'd like to think. And we checked out some souvenirs. Little did I know I would have more of these experiences and I would enjoy it massively up until the end.
There's an arch here called Turret Arch. To the right. To the left. Look at the trail. That's why I take pictures so like it's just like forget it.
It's not there for our safety. It's just there for research.
We hit a lot of spots that day. First thing is we finally made it to colorful Colorado. We checked out the Colorado National Monument, went to the visitor center. I actually love going to the visitor center because I love reading and looking at all the exhibitions that are available there. We also made our way to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. I didn't realize we were this high up until the drive was over and we went to the visitor center. majestic and deep. Kind of creeps me out, but it's nice. My favorite thing to do during the trip has been cleaning the windshield. It's just so satisfying. A good little exercise after the drive. And every time we're at gas stations, we're either picking out snacks or going to the bathroom and cleaning the windshield. So this has been an essential part of our day-to-day activities. At this point, we made it to Colorado Springs, and Jackie was very insistent that I try Waffle House for the first time. So I was very, very excited for this particular meal.
Oh, that's good. You liked it?
Oh yeah. Oh, this is old.
They're so fluffy.
No pancakes.
They're all different.
A waffle.
Every waffle house has been different. So I was like.
After breakfast, we headed to Boulder for a tour at the Celestial Seasonings factory. We also did a little bit of shopping and tea tasting. It was a nice little detour before we headed to downtown Boulder. So we mainly visited downtown Boulder for Two Hands Peppery. They are a Travelers Company partner shop based in Boulder. We stamped, obviously, and also checked out some of their local fare. They have a nice selection of paper and books as well at the back. We are supposedly in an institutional place that we really needed to stop and go here. Bucky's! Shake hands, shake hands. So something happened last night. While Jackie was already asleep, I usually take out my AirPods and like zone out to some music, and I couldn't find my AirPods. So I checked my Find My, and it turns out I left my AirPods at the hotel we stayed in Colorado Springs the night before. So I have been worried sick all night because I know it's so stupid, but I know these things happen. But I'm also trying to let my anxiety not take over my thoughts because it's not the end of the world. But obviously, I would love to listen to some music. But yeah, this morning I just played some music and like kind of zoned out a little bit, and surprisingly it really helped me calm down. So we tried calling the front desk earlier, but the housekeeping hasn't gotten back to them. So we'll try calling again in another hour before while we're out and about, so then we could coordinate how to get it back. But yeah, I think I'm enjoying it. I'm just really happy at how different my aura has been the past few days, because I'm like not glued to my laptop. I still film videos and I work a bit, but it's mostly like fun work, I guess. And I think for me that's always a good incentive, because then I don't feel so compelled to be on top of every single deadline, which I feel like has been kind of the overarching thing that I've been doing all summer. Like, everyone in my social circle knows how busy I am, like it's my whole personality. But actually I think for once I will try to really, pare down a little bit, and this is one way that I've been doing that, and I feel very calm. But yeah, I'm excited to explore more today. We're also headed to Denver today, which is going to be my first time in Denver. Colorado's nice, like really nice, very mountainy, And I should be getting back now because I'm freezing and I need to get my hoodie, but I'll update you on the AirPod situation later. We then went to the Rocky Mountain National Park. I love the little picture post that I had at the entrance, so you can take a photo there. What we do mostly in the visitor centers, rinse and repeat, we get our favorite merch, we do our stamps, and we look at the exhibitions. I think this was one of the exhibitions I really enjoyed in because they were showing like the 4 seasons of what happens inside the national park. We're so high up. Super nice. After seeing a lot of nature to start our day, we finally drove down to a very scenic drive and headed to another city. Jackie's like, what?
I'm oblivious.
We're in Denver! Denver was cute. I honestly wish we had more time to explore, but we only actually had an hour to really walk around, so our main agenda was going to the Union Station. We went to some bookstores, we looked at some food options. I had a coffee and a quick snack, and obviously we got some stickers. We're in Westminster, Colorado, and we got upgraded today, so I have my own room. It looks really nice, and I also have my own desk. But I don't know if I'm gonna get to drawing, but I did put my stuff on. I have to get ready because I'm meeting some friends for dinner. Have a little bit of socials while still here in Colorado before we drive out to another city tomorrow. This is the usual chaos when I get to the hotel. Promise it looks chaotic, but it'll be organized later. So I think I really like Colorado. I'm actually shocked. I think it's a good balance of city, but also we drove through a lot of nature more. So this morning we did Rocky Mountains, which was so nice, and we stopped at several visitor centers to do some stamping. And I also have been trying to paint landscapes more. Like I was trying out this technique, and I think it's also a good exercise for me because I'm so used to painting buildings, drawing buildings, doing the usual urban illustrations, urban style. But I tried drawing the Arches National Park, and I think it turned out pretty good. So this is my attempt, and I want to say that it's a good exercise for me also to kind of be more observant about nature. And I am not exaggerating when I say that my anxiety dropped significantly since this trip started. At least the days where we're going around and driving around and looking at the scenery, and there's always this urge to like take out my camera and take a photo. But there are also some moments where I'm just looking at it for like a good 2 minutes, like just watching, seeing it being right in front of me, and it's really so magnificent. And it's one of those things that I really want to just live in my head rent-free. Also, update, we called the hotel from yesterday, and good news, they found my AirPods. We're going to drive there tomorrow, do a side trip. Luckily, it's pretty much on the way back, so we're going to be picking those up. And I'm really relieved because, I don't know, I'm not the most organized person. Sometimes I'm a bit clumsy, so I didn't expect that to happen. Anyway, I have a couple more minutes before my friend picks me up, and I think I will show you a couple of things that I've been working on with my travel journal. So the regular size insert hasn't been filled up. I think I'll just work on that when I get back, but the passport size I've been really enjoying. So I've just been, it's also a road trip theme. I've just been painting signs and symbols from places we went to. I still have to paint the gas station. This was the other Arches National Park illustration I was working on. But I know it's silly, but I think like I really like signs. So that's been kind of the theme that we have going on here. I also am going to ask some of my friends later to write some notes. And then I also have the partner shop from Boulder. So this is Two Hands Papery. And in front, I love this because it's like fully filled with all the stamps so far. I don't know how much more I could add to this, but I think so far it's been pretty good. And because it's a compact size, I think being able to add small illustrations really make a difference. What I'm planning to do is once I finish up this book and add illustrations, I'm going to add Instax photos in some of the pages, write a bit. I already added some notes, and they're not like long notes, but they're just like observations. For example, we took the Interstate 80 to get here, so this was the first entry that I had. But yeah, I'm excited to fill this up more and really see how I can be more snappy and quick with painting these on the go, because usually I won't be able to do this when I'm back, but I can definitely do the travel journaling collage style. So I think it's a good balance and a very good excuse to draw and paint and be observant with everything that I see in every day that I've been in this road trip. You wanna say hi? I had KBBQ with some friends. Finally got to see these people after a while. I met Jane Berlin last year. Jamie I haven't seen since 2016. Finally met her and Ryan. So it was just a really nice evening overall. This was actually not part of our itinerary, but we made a quick stop to the Great Sand Dunes. It was really pretty. I actually loved seeing the desert flowers as well as the dunes, but more so the desert flowers. We stepped into the sandy area for a bit and checked it out. It's like you're in a beach, but there's no water. It's really interesting in texture, and the sand is actually so fine. If there's one thing I've learned from always traveling at least like half of the year, I have diligently kept my journaling habits, especially in the evening. Instead of doom scrolling, I know there's going to be a good hour where I could just sit down, reflect, paint, draw, make something, and I think this has been keeping me really regulated. Especially at this time, I was feeling kind of off because it was the full moon, but I'm glad to get some painting in and do some art. This was going to be our last national park for the road trip. I think it was definitely a save the best for last moment. I didn't realize it until we finished visiting this park, and I was blown away. You'll see why.
Sticker paper. It's filling up.
This could be me in another life, or maybe when I retire. Look at the drawings. Maybe. Oh, this is. Did you get this one? It's also nice. Cute. I don't need all of them. Also, this one is nice.
They don't have any bad stickers here. They're all really nice.
Annular eclipse.
I have 4 stickers already for this.
The font's less obvious. So hard choices.
Hard choices. I want to get this spoon.
Or this one.
Oh my god. I like the illustration.
For me, this was definitely the cherry on top of our trip going to the Mesa Verde National Park. I personally loved how this place was filled with history, very rich history, learning about evolution, seeing these creations were really, like with my naked eye, were really an eye-opening experience, and I really enjoyed just walking around. We're at Mesa Verde today, and it's like there's every area there is like a stop. Kind of just sticking this one out. But I'm having snacks. I super love this. I ate these growing up, so it was every time I'm in the US, I will just make an effort to go to Target and look for this. And I've been reading this book that I got from the shop earlier. It's all about America's national parks. So this is actually the first time I've visited a national park, like a first timer in general. So I've been really fascinated by how it's preserved, the origins of every park, why is it considered national park, the system behind all the things that kind of make the park what it is. And I think this is my rating that no one asked for. I think my favorite park has to be the Arches National Park. Like, that really set the standard for me. And then I really like Mesa Verde as well. I think Rocky Mountain was great, but I think I'm more drawn into rocks and like rock formations, and it was really interesting to see that. And I surprisingly have been getting a lot of inspiration for upcoming projects, so I think overall it has been really a good way to feel connected with myself and my creative pursuit. Since we're here, I got this tiny bag from Canon in Boulder during our short day at downtown Boulder, and it's been really useful because every time I need to go out, like we go to the visitor center, it's hard to always bring my entire bagu. So this one has the traveler's notebook passport insert where I do all my stamping, and then I also have a spare sticker paper from Jackie, so I do the other stamping here, especially because these will go on my main travel journal that I haven't really started. This is more like a companion book that I've been kind of doing creative things in while traveling, and I think it's a good system to have because I started painting. Look at this. I'm proud of this. This is the Sun Temple.
It does look like a palace. It's so big.
Last hotel. Where's the disco ball? Oh my god, there's a disco ball. Party time. On our last night, we stayed in Flagstaff, Arizona. We checked in this really vibey hotel. It's called Americana Motor Hotel. I like that it has a very retro feel. They also had nice merch, which always a plus. And the rooms were very vibey. I don't know what's the best way to describe it, but there was an IHOP beside it, so that's where we ended up having breakfast for dinner. And I always love IHOP pancakes, so it was a great way to just fill up before our last day out on the road. In the evening, 13 going on 30 was airing on the TV, so me and Jackie had a nice night in watching that and putting our face mask on like the girls we are.
Come on over. For a small fee, Zoltar will give you a wealth of... But Zoltar is here to tell you you can believe it. Age is simply a matter of mind. If you don't mind, then my friend, it doesn't matter. So go on. Give Zoltar a little money, and I will give you a fortune. Mine for the telling, and yours for the hearing. Come let Zoltar tell you more.
Going to Route 66 was a special request by yours truly. I am a huge fan of the Cars movie, yes, the Pixar one, and ever since I watched it a few years ago, it got me super interested in traveling by car and looking at these highways. The whole idea of an American road trip is so foreign to me because I was not born and raised in the US, so stopping by here felt like traveling back in time. This was specifically in Seligman, Arizona. I loved all the abandoned signs. I think there's something so quirky about this place and how it's still maintained and visited by a lot of tourists throughout the year. We went on an early morning, so most of the things were closed yet, but it was a nice way to end our 7-day road trip around the West Coast. Here for the soup. Flavors. It's our last day. We quickly drove through Williams, Arizona for a little peek at Route 66. Can we take a moment to look at my really nice shirt? I got this yesterday at Target. We were looking all over for it, and luckily we found it at Target in Arizona, the Arizona branch. We're driving down to SoCal today to LA, and it's officially the end of the road trip. Jackie's there putting up gas. I think in a way I feel mentally more balanced. I feel like also there are some days that I had to kind of deal with myself and like my thoughts, and it's always eye-opening to be able to do that and also feel a sense of closure, especially because today is the full moon. So I think it was a good way to kind of close out and celebrate the last few moments of sun. Hi, Jackie.
What? Oh, I'm